What is your content creation process like now? And the reason I ask is there's a lot of different ways to do it. There are some people who, while they're creating the video, they've got the camera on and I mean, there's people even who like live stream it and then will cut it down to a clip. There's also other people who will make the whole beat and the song first and then kind of mime to it and then they'll edit it along. What is your and that's fine. Like if you can do the stuff and it looks good, no judgment here, right? There are some people are purists, but what is your process for creating content now, especially the videos where you're playing and you have all the cuts and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm definitely miming to it, hands down, just because it makes the whole process easier because I don't have to worry about simultaneous things where I'm actually recording in real time audio and real time visual. So that's two different levels of accuracy that you need to have. So that's time consuming. So I started like that for sure. Like there are some clips on my Earth, Wind and Fire joint. That's all real time. I can't reenact that because it was all instantaneous and I was recording that for release actually. So, but outside of that, my typical workflow is do all the beats long before, like all the vibes I come up with, I do them like weeks in advance. And then I decide, okay, what song can I release or what do I want to do for free to add value to people? And then basically uh, just mime to everything. And that allows me to get these different jump cuts to go to like all these different angles. However, even though I'm miming, I'm still about 89% accurate of what I'm physically playing on screen. It's still accurate. I'm not like playing a C and then I'm hitting a G. Like it's not that far out at all. So yeah.
And then what is your editing process? Like are you using Premiere Pro? Are you using CapCut? What are you using right now?
So I upgraded to Final Cut in 2020, I believe. Shout out to my boy John Mike. He kind of got me hip to the Final Cut game, taught me like the very essentials, like the very basics from a YouTube standpoint. And then I took that and then I learned all these other modern features. So multicam and being able to control my different angles on have a hotkey for each angle that I recorded. And then I'm basically like performing the jump cuts in on beat and just, almost like it's another instrument.
Do you have a board for that?
I just use the keys on my laptop. So the angles, yeah, the angles, I usually do no more than about six angles. So they're assigned to the numeric keypad. So it's going to be 1 through 6. And then I can just do it like that.
Oh wow, that's really cool. I've never thought to do it like that.
Yeah, it's fun. That's I got that concept from Jonathan Morrison, from again from a YouTube standpoint. And they do a lot of camera switching. So they just put it on a numeric pad. I was like, that just took like hours out of my editing time. So yeah.
And then are you doing that when you are like live streaming as well? Are you using that six camera approach or the keypad approach for that as well?
So for when I live stream, I use Ecamm, and then I only have two angles. I would like to have three, but unfortunately, I would have to go to like an ATEM or something like that to plug the cameras into that source first before it gets to Ecamm because it just overloads and I end up with a lot of drop. Uh, yeah, just a lot of drop milliseconds and stuff like that. It'll just kind of look like I'm glitching out a little bit, and I prefer more of a smooth, natural SD card kind of flow. So I ended up just doing just two cameras. So I have a top down and a and head on, which is this one. So
And then how important would you say the content side of your career has been? Like obviously it's huge, but you have great songs and there's a lot, and the reason I'm asking this is there's a lot of people who have great music, but you have a marriage of great content and great songs. Do you think that has given you a do you think that has made a bigger impact on your music by having the great content with the great music?
Yes, 1,000%. I've been recording professional records since 2012. Some of them got a lot of recognition locally, and then some of them got a bit more recognition as I got placements. But what I noticed was the records that I was doing locally didn't really blow up too much. They made some noise for sure, but they didn't get to like the astronomical, like I can't believe this kind of vibes. So, and that was because of marketing. And I learned that years later, like in 2021 and 22, I'm like, oh, you actually got to get the stuff out there. Like, a lot of, and myself included, thought, I can speak for myself. I thought that as soon as you made the product, people would come to the product. And I learned very quickly that that's not always the case, with word of mouth traveling to the right person that will ultimately lead to some type of gatekeeper, if you will, or whatever. And then they put you on. So that just wasn't my story. But once I started making content myself and showcasing the music that I've been doing for years, same style, but just packaged with today's technology, I noticed a great leap of growth, almost instantly. It feels like, but it was definitely a journey. But I felt like a lot of the music really pushed through once I started adding content.
And one of the things I love about your content as well is that you aren't doing it in a salesman-y kind of way. Like you aren't saying you I've never seen you make a post. I mean, I went pretty far on your page. I've never seen you make a post be like, "Hey guys, new song out now." You are entertaining with your content. How does one do that without coming off how does one promote their music without coming off as salesman like and corny? Because that's a big problem a lot of people have. They don't know how to entertain.
For sure. And I think you just nailed it right there, is learning how to entertain. We're entertained more than we know, subconsciously. If you're sharing videos with a friend because it's funny, you got to take a step back and say, wait a minute, why did I share this? Why did I take the time to share this with a friend? And how many thousands of people have done that with a piece of entertaining content? So now you have to reverse engineer that and say, okay, how can I make content that people are dying to share because they're like, yo, you gotta see this. And if you don't have that type of sense of urgency before you hit the record button, then no one is going to have that same urgency. So I had to take, really honestly, I had to take about a year off from just music altogether and just learn business. And 2020 and 2021 was like top of 21 was like the year and a half that I personally needed to learn marketing, sales, pain points, value, all these sort of things. And so I was able to package that into performance videos and put on a mini concert for people every week. Give them 30 seconds of a nice vibe and give them 30 seconds of a song they already have known for years, but it's reintroduced with some new, shall I say, a more modern lens on or take on a hit song. And what I noticed was people were almost dang near stressing me out to release it because I'm like, I don't have the rights to this stuff. Like I don't want to get in trouble, but at the same time, I do want you to be happy. But so the breakout moment for me was definitely the Earth, Wind, and Fire cover. And we can talk more about that in detail. But that was just that moment of me learning, hey, you got to provide value first, free up front, just like any other business. They give you a free trial, free sample, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah.